Okay, I guess we are live. Hurrah, huzzah!
Huzzah!
We did it! It was only really complicated and gay. So, but we did it. We are here, I think. So, I am Mick.
You're Nick. I thought I was Nick.
No, I am Mick. You are Nick. Mik Nick.
Nick. Isn't Mick son of?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm son of someone. Come on, Nikki, keep up. Alright. So, I think, should we just get right into it?
I think so. So really quick, and I probably should ask this before, is this going to be like the first one, or is this just a trial, see what's going on? Do we want to get into our really big discussions in this video, or is this just a test?
I think we should. I mean, it kind of was just a test, see if we can get this thing figured out. But, I mean, I don't see why we can't get into it, unless you do want to try and save it for another day.
That's what I was asking. I was like, well, shoot, do we have this super awesome discussion on the test and not show the test?
I mean, fortunately, nobody was watching at the time, so I think we're okay. we can edit it later.
Okay.
Well, I mean, and we have plenty of good epic discussions, and so I think we could easily get into this because we have epic discussions just between the two of us, and so hence the whole reason for this podcast attempt. And so I think, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Dracula 3000.
Dracula 3000. Great attempt at a movie.
Great attempt at a movie. So let's go ahead and start off with a little bit of the backstory, okay? So you presented this movie to me. How did you come across it, and what was your take on it?
All right. So I kind of just stumbled across it, and I was like, oh, Dracula 3000, that sounds interesting. I should give it a shot because I was bored and I like movies.
Mm-hmm.
So then I watched the whole movie. And
like, you have to clarify that.
My take on it was honestly one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It was almost like watching a porn, but there was no sex and no nudity.
Watching porn without the payoff.
Yeah, I mean, the story was. I mean, the acting was forced. It was just bad.
Just bad.
Yeah, like I said, it was like if you rented a porn DVD and they had edited all of the sex scenes and took out all of the nudity. It'd be like that's the quality of the movie.
All right, so I guess before we get into all the details, I'll go over my take on it. So you told me about this, and you started off with, Mikey, this is the worst movie ever of all time. So my expectations were cratered before I even watched the movie. I watched the trailer and I thought, like, okay, maybe I get an idea what I'm getting into. And the trailer was really painful to get through. Like, it was like he might have a point. This might be the worst movie of all time. So I finally somehow mustered up the courage to finally watch this darn thing, because I've seen some doozies. I've seen some movies I really hated. And watching the movie, And I watched the whole movie. I watched it from beginning to end. Watched the whole thing. It was not the worst movie I'd ever seen in my life. And
Really,
there was actually a lot of things I enjoyed about it.
really, like what?
So, and against the caveat, no, my expectations were like they couldn't get any lower because I mean this is the worst movie of all time. So, I can't argue with you though. The way it looks and is set up, it feels just like a porno with no payoff.
Yeah,
The horror, there was like, I don't know exactly what this movie was trying to be. Like if it was trying to be an action movie or a horror movie, because it kind of sucked at both. um,
yeah. I mean, maybe like a retro comedy,
yeah,
like a movie that's not funny when you watch it, but you think back on it and you're like, that was kind of funny.
yeah. Um, so like, I guess probably the thing I enjoyed most about the movie was probably the world building. Um, I I did not like the exposition that the captain just gives right at the beginning of the movie. I thought that was highly unnecessary, but because I mean, you get a feel for the characters because he goes through and describes them all, and you get a feel for the characters. I feel like perhaps a little bit of exposition, saying like a captain's log, like oh hey we're picking up this load, or we're going to go check out this derelict spaceship in space or whatever that we came across, whatever. But going into like each of the characters is kind of I felt that was dumb. But I guess here I should probably put this up on screen here since we're talking about it. There we go. um, oh shoot, did that not come through? I don't think that came through. Can you see it? The Dracula 3000 bit title thing?
Yeah,
Okay, I can't see it on the screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the delay. Um, anyway, so yeah, but I like the idea like when they come across on the spaceship and they kind of go on there and they see the guy like the bodies and they have like the crucifixes all over. They're like what's up with these plus signs everywhere? And they make reference to like how like Christianity or religion was banned like 200 or 300 years ago. And I thought like, oh man, that's kind of a neat little insight to what's going on. And some little hints like that they kind of drop throughout the movie. Um, like the ship is coming from a planet called Transylvania or something like that.
yeah. And see, and I was just about to bring up, like, how could you focus on the little bits when that lazy writing of, oh yeah, it's a Dracula movie. He's from Transylvania, so there's a planet named Transylvania.
it it would have landed better for me if because they go on the computer and look up the lore around vampires. Um, and it brings up like how it was like an ancient Earth thing. So it's like, okay, so if you do that though, it breaks the world you're building though, because well, if you go into a real world history of vampires, well, they're from Transylvania here. Why would there be a planet called Transylvania? You know, and so
Well,
they break their
because
own
that's where
world in that sense. I think it would have been better if they would have cut out that lore bit, but at the same time they do use that lore to fight off Dracula or to fight the other vampires that he makes. But yeah, and then making the captain of a descendant of Van Helsing was unnecessary, especially with that. I'm not saying it's like the best movie ever. I was saying there's a lot more that I liked about it than I thought there would be. Um, but I feel like the hints at that world building were it had a good like it was like an almost but not quite, like your heart was in the right place, but you kind of you fumbled it, but at least as far as that
seeing,
goes.
I feel like you're wrong. I feel like it was almost like some high school students had to do a art project for their senior project, and they had a budget of debt,
And a
and
negative budget.
they come up with that.
Like I said, it would have worked better if they didn't break that world setup with having like an Earth-based lore, using real world lore rather than creating their own based on the real world lore. I think, again, I wouldn't say that would make it the best movie ever, but it would have helped with that world building. But this isn't the first movie I've seen with that too. And actually, I want to get into that movie because I feel that movie I'm thinking of I feel that movie's worse than this movie. But we'll get into that. But when you bring in real world lore into a movie like that, and you start to break that world that you're creating, and so that was kind of a fumble on their part. That was a fumble. But like other little bits as far as the world creating, when they do the stake through the heart thing, no, with the pull cues. Well, they find the pull cues on the derelict ship, and they use those to kill the vampires. It's kind of a I don't like that they bring in real world lore into it, but they use that saying, "Oh yeah, it says here, a stake through the heart will kill him, but it has to be wood, real wood, not the synthetic stuff." And so it's like little hints of the world building there. It's like an almost but not quite kind of. It almost makes me want to know a bit more of the future that they've created here.
Okay.
And that's what I mean, like the subtle hints of the world building. Like I really like that kind of stuff. But I did like the fact that they like, okay, we use the pool cues, they stick with that. And then when Dracula creates other vampires from the crew, well, there's like they find that one chick, like she is barely a character in the movie, but like they find her, like, yeah, we gotta stab her, do it. Like they don't mess around with it. They're just like, there she is. Like she doesn't even get a chance to really do much. But that was probably my biggest positive from the movie is the little bits of world building that they do.
Okay.
Some other positives. The acting, I won't say it was mega top tier. It's probably a little bit below average, but the wife, she was actually watching a movie or a show like yesterday. And granted, it's like one of those like Discovery Channel or one of those like TBC, one of those shows that's supposed to be like a reality show, quote unquote. But like watching it, it's like, dude, this is fake as balls. Like, this is painful to watch because I know it's like super insincere. Like, it was more convincing than that. I can't say it was a lot more convincing than that, but it was more convincing than that. Than trying to watch that reality show, quote unquote reality show. So yeah, there's that.
Well, so all right, let's talk about the acting.
Right.
You've got these somewhat big names stars in there.
Yeah, who
right?
who are the two big names in there?
So Coolio, which
Coolio.
was not necessarily big for his acting, which is actually one of the reasons why when I saw he was in here, I was like, oh, let me try that, check that out.
You find out why he's not big in acting.
Yeah. But then you got the guy from that was in the Friday movies, Tom Lister Jr.
What's it? Isn't like Tiny something his name? What's his?
Yeah, Tiny Lister.
Tiny Lister, yeah. Let me see. I can pull up the crew here. Let's go. Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's the whole
I'm on
crew. There we go.
IMDb right now. That's how I could remember the names.
That's cheap. Let's see. There it goes. It
um,
pops up in the stream. Yeah, so you got.
but
Can you see that
he
picture all right?
yeah,
So was it Tiny Lister? You said it was,
yeah.
and then Coolio, then other people.
But like the derelict ship's captain, Udo Kier,
Okay,
Kier,
yeah.
uh, he's in a lot of good movies. Captain Van Helsing, uh, I told you he looked familiar. He plays Johnny Rico in Starship Troopers.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I
Um,
thought I looked up his
yeah,
IMDb, but it didn't click though. Granted, it's been forever since I've seen Starship Troopers too.
that's true. But I mean, I'm looking at his movie list. He was in Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp. Um, he was in a ton of these movies. Um,
Okay, so
so
he's not necessarily like a big name, but he's definitely has a good resume though.
yeah, you see him and you go, hey, he's familiar. I've seen him in other movies. So the list of the actors is, I mean, it's an impressive cast for what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think
the
this
acting
is.
shouldn't have been that bad.
When did this movie come out? You got the year there for you?
Uh, 1 second, scroll back down. It came out 2004.
2004. Okay, so over 20 years ago. I mean, when did I mean, because this could have been like, well, I guess Starship Troopers is probably before then.
Way before. Starship Troopers was 97.
Okay, I was thinking maybe this is like one of those early movies like you do, and it's you're kind of working up towards that reputation or that acting ability, but maybe it's just I think they offer me money.
I mean, I guarantee that's the only reason why he was in there. I mean, plus, I mean, working with Coolio, working with that Tiny Lister, working with uh, the captain of the derelict ship. I mean, those are great actors.
Right. Well, I know. I mean, not that I'm in that world at all, but I know because a good script can make a good actor can uplift a bad script, but a bad script can make it difficult for a good actor to act well. And the same thing with a bad director too. Um, it can make it difficult if you don't know where to go with the character or exactly what the director's vision is, and then you got a script that doesn't really help you out much either, and so you kind of. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt in this case.
Yeah,
But
and you need to stop that because there's no benefit of the doubt. I mean, I get what you're trying to say, but if I go to like some great welder or builder and I
Mhm.
go, okay, this is my vision. I want you to make this building, and this is what I want it to look like. And I give them half a box of Legos and just a whole bunch of raw plastic. And he's like, okay, well, this is crap. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this to make it look like that. A good someone skilled in their craft will make it work. These guys are skilled in their craft and they didn't make it work. They put their name on it.
Well, yes, no. I would counter counter that with, let's say you got a fantastic welder. Let's use the same scenario here. You got a fantastic welder. Like, hey, I want this thing made. He's like, cool. How do you want it made? I want it made. Make it. And so you got a guy whose job it is to weld, and perhaps he can engineer something really well, but that's not his job to engineer something really well. And so if he does a crappy job engineering it, the welding's really good, but the rest of it's kind of doesn't hold up really well because he didn't know how to engineer it very well. And so, I mean, that's just it. Some actors can like I'm just going off of other like secondhand descriptions, but like some actors they they're able to like they're able to act really well because they assume essentially like the persona of someone else, but with that given direction. But if they don't have good direction, then it's like it doesn't mean they're not a good actor. It's just they don't know where to go. They don't know the tone. They don't know the like even watching the movie, we don't know exactly what this movie was trying to be, and we're
Yeah,
watching the final product. Imagine that while you're trying to make the movie, and so and that falls
I think.
on partially on the script and as well as the director. I think in larger part the director.
Well, I mean, absolutely. You know, shit rolls uphill. I don't know if I can cuss in this.
Oh yeah, too late now.
Yeah, too late now. Fuck it. Uh, the buck stops at the director, at the producer. Um, they have the final say, but each of these actors, it's not like they kidnapped him, pulled him in off the street, and went, "All right, this is your line, deliver it."
Hmm.
No, they had meetings. They auditioned for the role. They wanted to. I assume they wanted to be a part of it. Um,
It might, and part of it might have been the passion behind that too. You know, if you go to a job you on paper love, but you're doing it for the fourth year in a row, and it's just kind of getting, hey man, it's a paycheck. I'm just kind of clocking in, just phoning it in, so to speak. I mean that happens too. So that, given the nature of the given the nature of the product and perhaps the budget, perhaps the acting performance reflects that.
it could be it too. But yeah,
Now,
so I mean, you commented on the acting being below average, but not the worst, and I'm looking at
yeah,
it as not not good, like at all. Like
I
I don't know how to act, but I could do better.
I only say it because I've seen worse. And I've seen you act.
Yeah, and it's pretty
uh,
bad.
it was
Still
pretty.
comparable to the
It was
movie.
pretty bad.
Still comparable to the movie though.
It was
And these
comparable to the
again, that's their job.
movie. Right. That's fair. I mean, that said, though, I feel like getting into the characters a little bit. Um, Actually, looking at the cast right here. I mean, like, well, Dracula, he was there. He was fine, in my opinion.
Yeah, he wasn't too bad. I mean,
He wasn't like great
acting
either, but
wise,
like, he was fine.
acting wise, it wasn't bad. But then you get like, okay, well, why is he wearing his cape with the huge collar in space?
Yeah, that's how they dress on Planet Transylvania, Nikki. Come on now,
That's
keep up.
that's probably why he left that planet. He got kicked off for his fashion sense.
He left because capes are just too. It was too cool for him. Lando Calrissian wore a cape. That guy's cool as heck. Cool AF.
And let's do a quick dive into the cape. I mean, the boxes was when they opened the coffin, it was just dust or sand, ash.
Yeah.
Where'd the clothes come from?
Well, it wasn't he in one of the other coffins? Because they didn't open up
No,
all of them.
no, it was the coffin that uh, Coolio drip blood into. That's what
Oh, that's
revived
right. That's right.
Dracula. So again, were the clothes vampiric as well, and they dried up because they were thirsty?
I mean, if you can manifest yourself out of sand, I mean, what's a cape, you know?
Fair. Just I
That's
don't know. Maybe
no, that's a fair
maybe
point.
manifest something more year 3000, not ancient Earth
That's fair. That part wasn't explained very well. At
at all.
yeah, I was gonna say at all. No, I guess in my head canon, I guess I hate to use that term, but you're always going to try to bridge gaps if you come across any. It's just how wide is that gap? And I guess in my mind it was I thought he was in one of the other coffins because they didn't open up all of them,
No, but he only bled into one.
right? And going on that, brings me up to the character played by Coolio. He was probably the worst character in the whole movie. Um,
He is pretty bad.
it was pretty bad. It's probably why Coolio didn't really get into acting as much. Hey, try this one scene. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see it. They were like, "Hey, we're gonna get Coolio, and everybody's gonna come see Coolio,"
All right.
but
I
it was not good.
no. I mean, he was definitely having fun with it, for sure. And so it wasn't like I can't say necessarily the performance that he gave was bad. Just perhaps it was just the character was terrible, or
Yeah, I'd
maybe they
say
bleed into each other. I don't know, but it was definitely not a great character.
no. I think Coolio's acting was probably some of the best in the movie,
Yeah, like
but
he
yeah,
got
the
into the
character.
bit really well. But it's just yeah, it was not a good character. And that brings me to the best character though. I felt was Tiny. he
Yeah,
I think he probably gave the best performance out of the whole movie, and I think he's probably the smartest and the best character. Even like the captain describes him as dim-witted, like he's the smartest guy in the whole crew.
well, except for letting Coolio into that room because he was black.
I see. I remember you told me that scene about that scene, and like watching it in context, like because Tiny he explains like they like grew up together,
Yeah,
and so I didn't in context I didn't feel like it was just because he's black. I felt like it was because no, this is his buddy, and he wants to believe that his buddy like that he can help his friend because like he doesn't fall for it the second time, but no, that first time you don't quite understand what the vampirism does, how he's going to react to it, how he's going to act. So that was my take on it.
I guess I felt like Coolio definitely made it a point like, sucker, you believe the oldest trick in the book was that, you know, black man got to stay together. And it was like, yeah, I can see why that's portrayed as dim-witted. Um, well, and I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of Tiny's movies, but the ones I have seen, he's not exactly a rocket scientist.
No,
He's the muscle. He's scary. That's that's his character, like always.
I mean like he's the only guy in the crew though who didn't get turned to a vampire. I mean
And he
the
did. He was the only one in this porno that got laid off
yeah.
camera.
I mean, there's the blonde chick, but you find out she's a robot, and
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, he's literally the only guy who didn't get turned to a vampire, and he lived there till the end. Oh, except at the end. But
Okay, I know we're jumping around quite a bit, but let's talk about that ending. What were your thoughts?
I mean, it was such a. So I get kind of like the pacing of the movie is like because it's a big ship, and they're kind of compartmentalized, and so like the threat of Dracula's like it's there, but it's like you can have moments to breathe, and so Tiny doesn't know how to direct the ship, and I didn't think they were headed. I knew they were heading towards that system with was it they were heading towards the system with two suns in an attempt
Yeah,
to fry Dracula, which I mean to the movie's credit, like as they learn stuff, they implement it. So it's like
true.
there's horror movies that don't do that and do a lot of stupid stuff like that. And so they're like, hey, we're gonna fly to this system with two suns and try to burn them out. And at least that was my understanding on it. And so they're there. They're kind of got a moment to breathe. It's just like, well, hey, I used to be a sex bot. All right. And then what's the old guy, the old captain from the old
From
ships
the
thing?
derelict ship, the
Yeah,
Captain Varna was his character name.
yeah. What was he gives like some kind of final message or something like that, and
Oh
then
yeah, from his pre-recording.
yeah, it's that pre-recording he did that they kind of sprinkled throughout the movie, which I kind of did appreciate a little bit. Um, because I did like his character, but I can't remember what he says. But and then it's like right afterwards, the ship just blows up, and then credits, and I laughed out loud as soon as I saw that. Like I was just laughing for like a good solid couple minutes. Just whatever he says, just like dang, I can't remember what he said. Don't bug me. It's been a minute since I watched it, but yeah, he has that little sign off, kind of the ominous thing about Dracula, and then.
Yeah, boom end.
I mean, at least you get some kind of closure with that ending.
I mean, kinda. I mean, what happens if that Dracula dust is floating through space and it gets blood on it?
That's a good point. The
Then we
way they
get
set that
Dracula
up.
4000.
The way they set that up, yeah. I don't know. Space is really big. It's a non-issue. Maybe the sand, maybe the dust has to all be together, or maybe they didn't think that far ahead.
I don't think they thought that far ahead. You know, I mean, dropping blood onto the dust. I mean, what if that pile of sand that the blood actually touched was Dracula's knee?
What if because Grant, we don't know. He gave zero explanation about the sand. Um, but maybe it has to be fried by the sun because the sun kills vampires. So maybe where that was dust, you can't come back from ash.
Maybe. There's a lot of, we'll call it bad writing.
there was a lot of holes there, but I feel like the foundation's not as sandy or as cracked as you would think it would be. Cause like I feel like the premise, like, okay, we're just gonna take the story of Dracula and just throw it in space, and I feel like if you would have, I feel like it could have been executed a little bit better, a lot better, but um at least as far as like
Yeah,
writing out the lore, like a planet called Transylvania, like maybe mix that up a little bit, but don't bring real world lore into it. You have to build the lore within the world you're creating. And so like they find out that, hey, when I stabbed Coolio through the heart, he actually stayed dead. Like, cool, let's use the pool cues, and then maybe they try to stab him with something else and it doesn't work. And so they realize, okay, it has to be like a real wood, like piece of wood that goes through his heart rather than just anything. Um, Stuff like that. I feel like you could have done that a little bit better. Um, at least as far as the world building goes, world building, I feel like it had good ideas, It's just they fumbled it in too many spots to really carry the world building through. It's like in the movie Bright. Like I love that movie for the world building that does. Like the plot's fine. There's certain executions like with the antagonists I thought were not done well. Um, but the world building was fantastic.
Oh yeah, I've got no issues with it.
No, that's probably like one of the best world building movies that I can think of. Like, because you got like real world movies, like they don't really have to do that much world building, but other than established, like yeah, this is a realistic movie. Um, but as far as something a bit, as far as drastically different, that one's probably one of the best. This movie had some good ideas. It just needed someone to be like, hey, what if, well, we made this good?
Yeah, what if we didn't suck?
So that at least with the ending you get pretty good closure. Um, not all stories do that. So at least it had that. The execution was pretty terrible, but at least you got closure with the story. Rather than, oh, maybe he did live. Like, no. they went into the sun. They're done.
Well,
Everybody.
and, I mean, you got to again look at. I mean, yeah, you look at the fact that they brought in the real world lore. Well, real world lore. How many times has Dracula died?
uh, well, are we talking about all the movies made or just the original story?
Exactly. Well, I mean, it'd be all ancient Earth lore. All the movies would be archived. I'd suppose. So yeah, it'd be how many times has Dracula died? Well, he's died a couple hundred times that I can think of.
Yeah, at least in all the movies that are made about him, yeah.
Um, so I feel like it is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I, I'm it's definitely not like my top 10 by any means, but um, I so like the first movie that came to mind as far as worse than this one, because if you were like, hey Mikey, we're gonna watch Dracula 3000, I'd be like, all right, well, let's get some popcorn and have fun with this. It's fun bad. Um, Whereas like the movie that came to mind first when I thought of a movie worse than this one was the movie Spirited. Have you seen that one?
Give me 1 second. Doesn't I mean it sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
It's pretty new. It's like past couple of years or so. Has Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds.
I did watch that one, yeah.
I would categorize that movie as worse than this one.
I would say the acting is better in Spirited.
I agree.
Uh, I think the story is on par with Dracula 3000.
I would put it below it. I would put it way below it
I mean, they
because
they both are bad.
it did the same thing with this one as far as world building. I'd say it's I don't know if it's necessarily worse, but at least on par. At least on par. Um, with how because you got the Charles Dickens. I guess a quick brief summary of the movie is the Charles Dickens story, the Christmas Carol. It's Charles Dickens, right? Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
a Christmas Carol. It was a real thing, and the ghosts involved with that go through and try to kind of do the same thing they did with Scrooge. And they meet a guy, Ryan Reynolds, who's just like a mega douche, and in a sort of way, they kind of help redeem him, allegedly. Um, but in the movie, they break their own world building by introducing the real world lore, because in the movie, A Christmas Carol is a story written by Charles Dickens, but it's a real story. But they're familiar with it like we are in our world right now.
Yeah.
And so like they break their own world building with that. And so like it's that meta knowledge of what happens to Scrooge. Whereas in the movies, I think the movie Scrooged, granted it's been forever since I've seen that movie. I don't believe they do that. And that's a different take on the same story, but I don't believe they break their own in-world building by saying, "Oh yeah, it's a Charles Dickens story." And then, for one, the diversity in that movie was jarring. And they bring Will Ferrell's character Scrooge like back to life, and they crap on the original story by saying like, "Oh yeah, he was a changed man and died 3 weeks later." So it's like kind of takes all the piss out of the redemption that he had, and freaking then they crap on the original story because Ryan Reynolds' character is like aware of it, and he is a douche throughout the entire fucking movie, and then like, oh, he gets hit by a bus, and that's somehow redeeming because he did a knee-jerk reaction and pushing Will Ferrell out of the way. Like, oh, hey, he's redeemed, and like even in death, like he's still a douche.
Yeah.
Now I can say the production was a lot better, the acting was a lot better, but story-wise was I feel was way worse because it. I mean, they're both kind of adapting a story, but in Dracula 3000, there was no ill intent against the. I didn't feel like it was trying to take anything away from the original story, whereas Spirited did.
Right. Well, I mean, Spirited is a comedy, and they actually classified Dracula 3000 as a sci-fi horror.
Right.
Um, and so
Well, I mean, because look at.
comedy.
I mean, well, you can do comedy really well. I mean, look at The Muppets Christmas Carol. Like, that tells the original story and has a lot of fun jokes in it. I don't know what that's officially classified as, but like that's a comedic movie, but it lifts that story. It does a fantastic job of telling it.
Right. Well, but modern comedies, they
Suck. Sorry.
they tear down and make fun of whatever it's based off of, if it is based off of something.
Well,
I mean, and
that's
that
my
works really
point.
well. Parody movies too.
Well, not this like not all. Just because it's a comedy doesn't mean it has to tear down the original story. I mean, like Hot Shots. Hot Shots is like one of the best parodies of all time. It doesn't. I mean, it makes fun of it, but it doesn't tear down the original.
That's
It's
true.
not saying the concept is stupid. It's just like now having fun with some concepts.
Well, and granted, I would say Hot Shots is a parody versus Spirited, which is just a comedy.
Right.
But I mean, if you were, uh, I think that Hot Shots and most parodies when they do parody it, if you are someone who loves the original media, the one that's getting parodied, I don't know if you'd find the parody as funny because you'd feel like it is tearing it down.
I mean that is subjective, and it depends on the parody as well. It's like I shared a coworker of mine. He had a son that loved Dragon Ball Z, and I shared it with him Dragon Ball Z abridged, and he hated it because he felt like it was making fun of the original. But I mean, clearly the creators of that they love the original, and it's like, I mean, it's definitely from no ill will on their end. It's just they love it, but they had a lot of fun with it,
Yeah.
and so and again that perception is subjective, but I feel like Spirited is just like I said, the musical bits weren't bad. Like they were well done. Choreography was well done, but like the the diversity of it was jarring. Like you're seeing them like 1800s England, when the original story took place, and it's like half the people are black. It's like, hold up, and
Yeah,
that's story breaking, just because you know why they're there, because they have to fill a diversity checkbox, and it makes you realize you're watching a movie. You don't get lost in the story, and so I mean, and the Spirit is not unique in that. I mean, there's a lot of movies like that now, but that's a flaw. And then I feel like it was just I feel like they just tore down the original story, and plus Ryan Reynolds, like that movie really turned me off to Ryan Reynolds. Like he can act, but most of what he does is play a handsome douchebag in every movie that he's in, and that movie like
that's
really epitomized that for me.
that's true. Well, then I know we in previous conversations we talked a little bit about this, like you know, casting actors for a role. How much of that is
Because he
their
can
acting
play that role
ability,
really well.
right? Or
Yeah,
like that's what you know him for. I mean, I watched a movie with Anthony Hopkins where he plays a kind of a criminal mastermind, and it's like, well, did they cast him because of his earlier role of Hannibal Lecter, where he did that role very well, and that's what you think of Anthony Hopkins as,
right,
or you know, is that just one of the few roles he does very well?
right.
Ryan Reynolds, same thing. Yeah, he plays that arrogant douchebag pretty much in every movie. I'd say I'd say Just Friends is one of those exceptions where he plays kind of like a
Oh,
self-doubting person.
yeah. I think I said that once.
Um, but yeah, the majority of his roles, it's the same thing, and it's I don't think that it's necessarily his fault.
I no, and that's a fair thing to point out. Like, I believe the term for that is typecasting, or like they've done one role really well, and people can't see them beyond that, and so they get cast in roles that cater to that type of character. Um, the only counterpoint I could say was the drama with I think his wife Blake Lively, and the kind of stuff that he's done with that. I would say he is a handsome douchebag in real life too.
I
Um,
mean, and I don't know him in real life. I only see what is thrown at me in media.
right, and same with me, obviously. But I guess it turned me off to him. So like anything I see with him in, it's just like immediate, like yeah, it's probably a hard no for me.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, and chances are the next movie he's in, he plays that douchebag, arrogant, what have you. And part of me is like, oh yeah, it's just how he's cast. Those are the roles that call him and go, hey, we need you to do this part because you'd be perfect for it.
Right.
Um, but I don't think that should necessarily detract from him as an actor.
No, and like I said, he can definitely act. Uh, Just Friends, I feel like it's different, but not drastically different. I've heard, I think it's a movie called Buried. I think he's in. I think I haven't seen it, but I've heard he does really well in that. The one I have seen that he's in is Safe House with Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
Um, that one, like he plays like a rookie. I think it's CIA operative or operator or operative. I can't remember what they're called in the CIA, but so yeah, he's like kind of rusty, and he thinks he got it figured out, but like the Denzel Washington plays his senior CIA operative, and he's he's cool as ice, because he's very well experienced and knows what he's doing, and it you can see like Ryan Reynolds' characters gets flustered a lot because of it. And I actually really like that movie, and I actually really like Ryan Reynolds' uh, character in that movie. I think he does a really good job acting in that. I think he is. Yeah, I think he is type. I think the term is typecast or typecast. As the handsome douchebag, but it's just. I mean, that's not a. To me, that's not a very likable character I like to see on screen, and so if most of his roles are that, and then I see him in a movie, it's like, yeah, that's what this is going to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why they get beautiful people to play, even based on real life. They get beautiful people to play ugly people, or beautiful actors to play ugly people because, well, people don't want to look at an ugly person.
Yeah, like that new movie with Helen of Troy.
Yeah, because who would want to look at the face so beautiful that launched 1,000 ships? You know, let's get some black chicken. But
Yeah.
I have heard from good authority that movie is good,
I I still want to watch it. I
and
mean, I've sat through worse.
I don't. I'm so tired of the race swap crap. I mean, it very well it could have been like everybody singing its praises, talking about how fantastic it is. Like, this is the best movie ever. I'd still be like on the principle, because like it's that kind of crap. Or grant we don't know the historical accuracy, at least to what degree that how true that story is, but it's a 3,000-year-old story, and we know we have a pretty darn good idea how Greeks look, and so
Yeah.
we know they weren't dark black, and so you freaking and that kind of stuff seeps in even to like these myths, these stories, these fictional stories, like even like in like Batman type stories. You got race swaps of characters there. Like, yeah, it's a fictional story, but like when you take all the fictional stories and you start swapping out the characters, their race, their gender, and you start doing that stuff, well, it starts to bleed over into real stories. And we've seen that with the BBC. Like I want to say, I think it was Doctor Who, which was a fictional story, but they went and visit Isaac Newton, and they had him depicted as a black guy. Um, and they've done that with a lot of other like historical shows. Like they'll like what's that one, Charlotte or whatever. I don't know. I'm a dude. I'm a straight dude, so I don't watch it. Um, but like they have like historical English people, like English royalty depicted with black people, and then it's like trying to like it's as bad as having John Wayne play Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
It,
Well, I mean, but you look at I guess you'd call it the exact opposite of that. I want to say a few years ago, but honestly, it's probably like 10 years ago now.
mm-hmm.
Um, they recreated what Cleopatra would have actually looked
Oh,
like,
yeah. Are you talking about
and
that's? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
they depicted her as kind of lighter skin, tan, um, uh, I guess pigment, and it was it's historically accurate. I mean, you think Egypt was right there on the Mediterranean, they wouldn't look too different from like Greek people.
Cleopatra, like she was Macedonian or something like that. Descent, like she wasn't from Egyptian lineage.
Right. But everybody was all up in arms because Cleopatra was an African princess, and that means she has to be black. And they freaked out about it, even though it was historically accurate.
Well, that's well. There was that one quote unquote documentary on Netflix that came out about her. I don't know if that's what you're referencing, but like they depict her as black and not just like a tan, but like black. And that show got cratered with the ratings and even like the critic ratings. And I want to say even the country of Egypt sued Netflix over it because they're very proud of their history, and Egyptians aren't that black from what I understand. Um, so like, and that's the problem with trying to look at history through a modern day lens. Like, there's diversity. I mean, what for one, travel back in the day wasn't as easy as it is nowadays, and then you know there's the cultural blocks too, which people were probably a lot less accepting of others of a different culture, let alone different skin color. And
Oh yeah,
so,
I mean, there's one spot about it all throughout history.
right. And so, but I mean, obviously today, well, we haven't quite fully moved past that, but I mean, a lot more than how it has been in the past. And so, um, so yeah. Hey, I gotta try and see if I can share this picture. There's a good thumbnail. I don't know how to quite do this. Um, sorry, I got totally distracted. The wife, she made a fantastic attempt at a thumbnail for this stream. And it's fantastic. Give me a second. See if I can share this here. Anyway, but yeah, so like obviously by today's standards we've gotten past a lot of that, and even even if you are a little bit racist or whatever, like it's nowhere near what it was back in the day. And so um and so but
Well,
trying to look at like even 100 years ago, let alone 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 years ago, how they should have done things or what life was like. It was you, you need all that context and understanding in order to understand just how things were, but also why they did what they did.
right. I'm sure some bigwig at the you know entertainment industry is like, well, if we showcase how people were, you know, their racism, their bigotry, the fact that they only believed in two genders, the that ideal might spread amongst our more impressionable viewers, and so we can't have that, and that's why they're changing a bunch of this stuff.
That makes a lot of sense, sadly. And that's kind of what's so jarring about it too, is the fact that that's why they're showing it, or that's why they're depicting it as such. And so it's annoying.
It is.
All right, let me see if I could. There's the picture.
Nice.
That is probably the best part of the whole movie, the Dracula 3000. she yeah, like all the porn build up without the payoff.
Yeah, it's maybe that's why I thought it was the worst movie. I was expecting some nudity, and there was none.
They had like some good setup for it too, a couple times. Like, oh, undress me to find out I'm not a vampire. Like, oh. But then Tiny's actually smart in that situation. He's like, no.
Yeah, no,
It's just part of why, like, man, this guy's all right. He's the smartest guy in the whole crew.
yeah, I think it is. I think that his character had layers where nobody else in the movie did.
Yeah, yeah. I think, and I don't know if because I feel like he probably the best acting in the whole freaking movie too.
I, I still think Coolio's acting was probably the highlight of that movie, but it's so overshadowed by every other negative.
Yeah, he hams it up really well, but yeah, it was. But I enjoyed that character most of all. Tiny's character was fantastic,
And oh yeah,
and
that was probably the best written character.
yeah, for sure. As you said, he had some depth to him, and yeah. So like I said, I and that's why I feel like this movie. There's some fun elements in there. The execution was not the greatest by any means, but for one, I don't feel like the movie hated me. That's a big thing. Like another movie that comes to mind is Hidden Figures, where it's just we was astronauts and shit.
Mm.
Not quite that bad, but like they made it seem like it was the three black women who were oppressed, but in spite of oppression, they still were the whole entire reason why we got to the moon. And there's actually a really good video by the Despot of Antrim who explains, yeah, the entire movie's utter bullcrap. Like the
Right. Well,
women are they're the movie's based on are real, but like everything they went through was not that.
and that's why I laugh about these movies that try to show. And I got to choose my words carefully here. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that oppression did not exist,
Right.
but the fact that they have to dramatize it, I think, is really telling.
Yeah.
I mean, if and again, I'm not saying that nobody was oppressed or any of that. I'm saying that if you have to ham it up, then it probably wasn't as bad as everybody thinks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's dramatization, but yeah, there's. I get what you're saying though, for 100%. Like there was one movie. I try to avoid movies that are like all about the race and stuff, because that's what it all becomes about. It's just like, okay, like I'm not like, hey, don't be mean against black people just because they're black. Like, okay, I'm not. Okay. that the no, I don't want to listen to you preach at me about it for the next hour and a half or 2 hours. Um,
And that's what I also like. You brought up the movie Bright. They did have those stereotypes and actual racist stereotypes, like against the orcs or against the elves.
yeah,
Uh, and I think that same movie, but you tied into a real world where you know instead of orcs, it's you know black people or Hispanic people. Uh, I think that it would have gotten more of that preachy, just hey, don't be racist.
yeah,
Um, but I like the way they did the I guess racism in that movie where it was familiar, but it wasn't It wasn't real life.
Yeah, yeah. They explain in world, and that's why I love the world building so well in that movie because like the line, no, our ancestors made side side chose the wrong side 2,000 years ago, and we've been paying for it ever since. And it's just like that's so good. That's like you got like a history. Ah, I love the world building. I really wish they came out with a sequel so you could explore that world more because it was done so well.
Oh yeah.
I'm just sad there's no sequel. Gotta think about a better movie.
Right?
uh, but yeah, like it's and that's why I feel like this isn't Dracula 3000 isn't the worst movie ever. Is it pretty bad? Yeah, but you could definitely have a lot of fun with it. Um, like I said, if you came over, or somebody was like, "Hey, Mikey, we're going to watch Dracula 3000," like, oh boy, you know, like I'm gonna make fun of it the whole time, but we're gonna have a good time. Whereas, like, if I'm watching, like Hidden Figures or Spirited or something like that, like when the movie's trying to make me feel bad because I'm white, something I have literally no control over, or any of these like modern feminist movies, it's just like, yeah, that's just depressing and annoying.
I mean, that's the wrong attitude. We can watch Hidden Figures together. We can make fun of it the whole way.
Well, we can, but and I do. That's why my wife stopped watching it with me. But I mean,
But
like the movies that like depict like the more accurate, at least it feels more accurate, um, type of race crap. Like one I actually really like was I think it's called the Free State of Jonestown. Did you ever see that one?
I did not.
It's Matthew McConaughey and other people. Um, I have no idea how accurate it is, but it felt like I'm watching like an untold story as opposed to being preached at for um for how racist I am. It's just like, hey, this racism happened and here's how they dealt with it, kind of thing, rather
Fair
than
enough.
being preached at for it. Um, so I enjoyed that movie. I've only seen it the one time, but and the movie The Help. I mean, one actress I really don't like because that fat black actress. She plays like the exact same character in everything she's in, just that real pouty face and sassy "I'm better than you" attitude.
Is it the one from Community?
No, as similar look and feel, um, but no, she is in. She's in The Help, but she's also in Spirited. She's Will Ferrell's love interest in Spirited.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I feel like she's plays the same character, and it's just this like she's angry at me just for existing. But yeah, the Help I feel like it depicts. Again, I don't know how. I have no idea how accurate it is, but I feel like it depicts it relatively. It feels like it's depicting it like this is how it is. Obviously dramatized for so you can watch it and enjoy it, but it feels a bit more authentic than like Hidden Figures.
Fair. Well, and I haven't watched Hidden Figures, so I can't really give any commentary on it. Um, but no, I get what you're saying. You don't want to be preached at. I feel like a lot of movies explore that race button.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that being said, I was just trying to think of movies where they do make a big deal out of race, uh, and I couldn't come up with one on the spot. Like not a historical movie per se, but
It's not like one that does it
uh,
well, or
one that just yeah, and I was trying to think of the movie, and I couldn't. Still can't. But there was a movie where it was like a black detective, and he gets called out by a supervisor, and he's like, "It's because I'm black." And the supervisor was like, "No, it's because you're reckless, and I don't give a crap what your skin color is. You made a bad call." And the guy kind of is like, "Oh," and then thinks about it and kind of moves on from the race and is like, "Okay, well, my bad."
I haven't seen that. I have no idea what that would be from.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to keep track. I watch a lot of movies.
Well, I like one that deals with race and it's about race. That does it really well. Is well, the we watched it in high school. It was Glory. Did you ever see that one?
Lori, no.
Um, it's about the Civil War, and they had an all black unit. I think like some of the leadership was white, but yeah, it was a Union army group, and it was full of black soldiers, and um, it's really good. I don't think I've seen it since high school, but um, it was really good. They're a lot of them. They gotta learn how to be soldiers, and it goes through through the training and stuff. And they try to assault this fort. I want to say somewhere in Florida. Like they all died in the assault. Like it doesn't make out those all black unit, man. They were like super soldiers. Like no, they all died in the attempts. I mean, they were just like normal soldiers, and unfortunately they died in the assault. But I want to say I don't think it's depicted in the movie or explained in the movie, but I want to say they buried the commander. It was a white guy. I want to say they kind of did like a mass grave, and they threw him in there with him to try and like disrespect him because he's being buried with a bunch of black guys. And I want to say like other people who knew the guy was like that's what he would have wanted because he grew to love them because they were his men. And so
Hmm,
I don't think that's depicted in the movie, um, but no, that was really good. I would definitely watch that one again. It's a good war movie. Um,
okay.
yeah, it's like it can be done, but it's just race has become such a thing now. It's just like you watch movies or play a video game or something, you get no black people in freaking ancient England. I mean, not like even in video games too, with the Assassin's Creed uh, Shadows, they got like the one black guy who visited ancient Japan. Like, let's make him the super awesome samurai. He was like, he like knew a samurai in real life.
Yeah.
And as was
I,
pointed out, they didn't put crossbows in the first Assassin's Creed because it was historically inaccurate. Like that's why in that one trailer you see him using them, but they took them out because it was historically inaccurate. But yeah, we got like one black guy who was in Japan.
well, and then it was like, Dragon Age Origins, you're fighting literal gods. And it's like, yeah, that's not really historically accurate.
Well, it's its own world and magic. It's a fantasy setting. This is Dragon Age
Right, but I
Origins,
mean,
right?
you go from can't use a crossbow because it's not historically accurate to,
Oh, you said Assassin's Creed Origins.
yeah.
I thought you said Dragon Age Origins.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, well wasn't Origins kind of a reboot of the franchise?
No, I didn't take it as such. It was just another or game about the origins of the order.
Okay,
Because the first one, it's during the Crusades, and the order is already very well established, and so Origins was just that. It was like, hey, this is the first assassin.
gotcha. I remember hearing someone talk about it, and they mentioned, or at least I want to say they referred to him as a reboot or revamp or something like that. Or like and I think that's the point he made too. It was that Freakazoid, that retarded fever dream of video. But he talks about he makes a lot of good points in this video. But like he talks about like yeah, in the first one they took out crossbows because they weren't historically accurate, and now we're fighting like gods and monsters in these ones.
Yeah.
I think he was talking about like where the franchise has gone since its inception, and critiquing it heavily.
Right.
So
Oh, so I watched this movie. Speaking of race, and this movie it's all about race. It's set in like the mid 60s, um, and it's these FBI uh, officers are investigating the disappearance of you know some black people down in Mississippi, uh, and it talks about the. I mean, it deals heavily with like the KKK and the racism kind of within the FBI and law enforcement and all that stuff.
is this that movie you were talking about?
Yeah, it's called Mississippi Burning. It has Willem Dafoe and Gene Hackman, but like Willem Dafoe is so young that you almost don't know it's Willem Dafoe,
Wow. Well, you got Gene Hackman. That sounds awesome.
right? You're on your computer. Look it up really quick.
Let's see.
Um,
What was it called? Sorry.
Mississippi Burning.
I remember how I can't figure out how to spell Mississippi. Oh, okay. That's Willem Dafoe. Holy cow.
That's Willem Dafoe.
Looks awesome.
Oh, it was a good movie. Like I said, super about race. Uh, that's the whole point of the movie. Um, but if you get a chance, watch it. I I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm not into race movies, but it
Right.
definitely feels more. I think it did it perfectly because it's about race, but it's a historical. Like it's not.
Like in the context, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's not hammed up. It feels like, yeah, okay, that's what it was like. That's that systemic racism that everybody's talking about. That's when this movie is.
Well, that's cool. That's good. I'll have to keep an eye out for it. I mean, actually, I love Gene Hackman. I can't think of really any movie where he sucks in it.
No, and he does this movie very well. The character arc, the acting, the plot, superb. Plus, like I said, you're looking at. I I know he wasn't a teenager in this movie, but you're looking at teenage Willem Dafoe.
He looks stupid young. It takes a moment. It's like, holy crap, that's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
He looks stupid young. Gene Hackman looks the exact same that he's always looked up until his death. So.
exactly. I mean, you can't change Gene Hackman, but great movie. Highly recommend it. Um, I actually have started a movie marathon,
Oh,
like I do.
like you do.
Um, I've been watching a bunch of vampire movies.
Whoa. Is that where Dracula 3000 fell in?
I think it kind of started. I watched Dracula 3000, and then I put like I did wasn't gonna watch any more vampire movies ever, and then uh, finished up my Marvel movie marathon, all 36 movies.
But you did not do the series though, right? You just did the movies.
I didn't. Yeah, just the movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
So there's
I
some
was
that were brutal in like phase 3. I have the hardest time getting through. I can't get through Black Panther.
I, Black Panther. I thought it was the worst Marvel movie, and I can tell you right now, it is not.
Well, I thought you thought Captain Marvel was worse than Black Panther.
I I did, but there's
I
the
did.
worst. I mean, they've got a movie that goes below Captain Marvel.
You said that's the Marvels, right? You were saying.
Yeah, the Marvels. It is just the worst.
And you're a lot more lenient on movies than I am. Which actually, I'm really surprised. I enjoyed Dracula 3000 more than you. Grant, you cratered my expectations though, so I wouldn't doubt that had something to do with it.
I bet that's a huge part of it. I'm not looking forward to. I found Dracula 2000, and Dracula is in this movie. Dracula is played by Gerard Butler,
he,
um, and so I'm not super excited to watch it. I will because I'm a completionist and I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it.
I mean, I like Gerard Butler as an actor. I think he could do a really good job. He can do a fantastic job. Um, I really didn't like the movie Family Opera though. I hate that movie.
Yeah, I
That's
have
that's a
not.
hot take too, because apparently everybody and their freaking dog loves that stupid movie. But I
Have
hate
not.
that movie.
I haven't watched it. I don't think I'm going to watch it
I it's
unless I do some marathon where I have to watch it.
I mean it's definitely a chick movie. They're all about like, oh, the songs are so great. Like, well, what about the plot? Like, he's a murderer. Like, he's a cold blooded murderer. Like, yeah, but the songs are good. Like, he's killing her fiance like in front of him, and he's like singing about it, and she's like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's like, Raul, like, you could do way better, man. Like, don't ditch this broad. If you get out of this, like, ditch her hard. Sorry, that movie gets under my skin. Probably because it's so well loved, and like I watch it and get so freaking. Because I'm not there for the music, I'm there for the rest
The
of it.
movie.
Yeah.
One and musicals, it's difficult to separate the music from the movie. Um,
It can be. It can be.
for me, one of my favorite musicals um, of all time is Doctor Horrible's Sing Along Blog.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Um, and I have trouble because I love the songs and I love the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard for me to separate the two because when I think of the songs, I think of the movie, and when I think of the movie, I think of the songs.
Well, I think that's probably a better example um, of the implementation of the songs supporting the rest of the movie really well. It has a solid plot. I mean, the ending can be jarring.
Not
Um,
fly into the sun and explode jarring, but yeah,
it's up there. It is up there. Maybe not quite. No, it's flying to the sun, but it's up there. What do they call? It's a what do we call it? A midnight ending. It's not a happy ending.
I
So
mean, he got everything, well, almost everything he ever wanted.
right, but obviously it's not a happy ending though. Even though he did get what he wanted.
I suppose it's all from perspective. I mean,
Well, I'm talking about from his perspective. And I won't
well,
feel a thing.
right. He saved himself literally a lifetime of uh, arguments and child custody battles, and
I feel like there's some headcanon coming into play there.
I'm just saying, it, he got everything he wanted minus the headache of the future. So it's all
It's
perspective.
one of those movies that, like, as time goes on, you understand it better. he,
Yeah,
he did get everything he wanted. He just didn't know it at the
it
time.
yeah, kind of like all my dad's jokes. I didn't understand all of them at 7 years old, but now I do.
Sorry. Um, Shoot, what the heck were we talking about?
So I started a vampire movie marathon.
That's right, Gerard Butler.
I I watched all the Blade movies. I watched
Ah,
all of the
nice.
Underworld movies.
Those are good. Those are good movies.
Those, I
Those
mean,
are
they get a little. The sequel and the one after that gets a little weird, but
yeah, but I mean,
um,
the dudes, they made the dudes rip and the chicks hot. So I mean, they at least got
that's
that
true.
figured out.
They did. Um, so Underworld, Blade. I watched all the From Dusk Till Dawn movies.
Those are Quentin Tarantino, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and I always forget that he has a foot fetish until I watch From Dusk Till Dawn.
That's the scene where he drinks the freaking tequila off Salma Hayek, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not even like. Don't get me wrong. That's a dead giveaway of his foot fetish. But like,
Right.
there's like a teenage girl, and he stares at her feet,
Yeah.
and like, it's just it punches me in the face about him and feet. Um,
Right.
but anyway, watched all of the From Dusk Till Dawn movies.
One.
I'm going through. Oh, I watched John Carpenter's Vampires. Um, I watched the Bram Stoker's Dracula,
That's the
which
like Bram Stoker. That's the original author, isn't it?
yeah,
Gotcha.
they made a movie. It has Gary Oldman as Dracula.
Ooh.
It has Keanu Reeves, like young, like noticeably young Keanu Reeves.
And Gary Oldman's
Um,
Dracula.
yeah, and then you got Winona Ryder,
Nice.
right?
The movie sounds fantastic when you talk about it.
Oh, dude, it's a
what's
wonderful movie.
what's it called?
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, okay. I mean, because Gary Oldman, I feel like he's such a phenomenal actor. Like, I feel like he doesn't get the praise he needs because he's that good of an actor.
Yeah,
People like watch his movies and thinking he's just a different. It's literally a different actor in every movie.
yeah. Like it took me a while to place the actor's name. Uh, I didn't recognize it was him until about halfway through the movie.
Dang. So yeah, he's a darn good actor. And then of course, Keanu Reeves. I feel like he's not necessarily a great actor, but I love the guy though.
Who?
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he actually does have depth. Um, I looking really quick here. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of thought Dracula had a couple of actors in this movie because that's how good Gary Oldman is. Like I'm triple checking it right now just to make sure
That was him.
that it was him. Um, yeah, no, you should watch that movie. One because it has Winona Ryder in it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
The only movie I can think of that I've seen with her in it, off the top of my head, is probably Mr. Deeds.
Really? You're not even thinking Beetlejuice?
I thought it was her in Beetlejuice. I did not like that movie, and I was a kid when I watched that movie. It's like made it even worse. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that movie. I try not to remember it, but I was gonna say I think she was in Beetlejuice, which I technically have seen that movie, but I tried to expunge it from my memory. As
Yeah,
I mean, I get like it's a people love that movie. It's just it's not my taste, especially with
fair
like all the
enough.
like
I
the stop motion stuff, and it's just like yeah. I'm getting freaking creeped out just thinking about it.
I definitely I liked it. Um, I think that's kind of had a big crush on Winona Ryder, and it's from that movie.
Understandably.
Uh, yeah, I'm trying to find this fun bit of fact that I found by accident about Winona Ryder.
I am.
Uh,
Let me see it because I think I've seen that same thing. It was, assuming it's the same thing we're thinking about. How she was dating the lead guitarist of a band.
yeah, yep, that's exactly what I was talking about.
He broke up with her because she wanted sex all the time and her boobs were too big.
Yep.
Oh no, my steak is too delicious. I'm making too much money, boss.
Yeah, like I don't know that it almost sounds unreal.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Just
Like, tell me you're gay without telling me you're gay.
maybe like he was like trying to do stuff, like work on a song or something like that, and she's like trying to bang him right there. He's just like, babe, I gotta get this stuff done. Like I like you, I love you, but no, I got shit to do.
Nah, but even then, it'd be like, oh, hey, Mikey, did you write that part for this song yet? We're waiting on you. We've been waiting for like 6 months. When are you gonna do this? And you're like, guys, I sat down. I was gonna do it, but Winona was all over me. I'm sorry. And it'd be like, yeah, okay, never mind. Try to work on it tonight.
Well,
Like,
it's the same though.
if you're gonna have an excuse, that's the excuse.
I mean, that's fair, but at the same time, it's like going to work. It's like, Mikey, you're late like by 3 hours today. What happened? Why Winona Ryder was wanting the sex. Like that's I get it, but we need to make money too, or otherwise we go out of work, and that's why we hired
Mikey,
you.
literally anything in life, okay? Anything, and then I know you're married, and I'm gonna forget about that for right now. Anything in life is not more important than sex with Winona Ryder. If
I'm trying to somewhat give him the benefit that at least in this context, like maybe maybe that's the why. But I mean,
there is
there's no excuse for the boobs being too big.
there
Like
there is
there is
no
no
giving
excuse for
him
that.
there's no giving him the benefit of the doubt here. The devil's advocate is saying guilty. Okay, there's no redemption. There's no reasoning why. He is just a horrible human being at this point. He he has failed as a human.
We all make mistakes.
There's mistakes, and then there's that.
Hang on. Maybe hang on. Is it possible that while Winona Ryder wanted sex all the time, right? Did the statement clarify that she wanted sex all the time with him?
Mm, I'm gonna
I feel like that's what's
assume
implied, but
so.
that is not clarified.
It's not clarified, but it's Winona Ryder. She'd get sex with anybody at all times.
Perhaps that's the problem.
if she was
'Cause I mean,
dating
if
someone,
if I'm dating Winona Ryder and she's wanting to have sex all the time with everybody, it's like, okay, that's
then you feel that need.
I would get that. Like, I get that, but there's no excuse for her boobs being too big. Like,
There's no excuse for any of it.
I can think of ways to justify, perhaps, maybe ish, the sex all the time. Like, granted, it's like I gotta do a few backflips to get there, but the big boobs thing, it's nah, I can't, nah.
Yeah, no, I
I get
yeah,
where you're coming from. I get where you're at because I know you.
I, I I can
I've been to
argue
Mexico with you.
I can argue any point both sides. I cannot justify his actions. I cannot.
Like I said, the best way I can think of is maybe it was not clarified. She wanted sex all the time with him. Maybe she wanted
Right,
sex all
but
the time with someone else.
then you bring them in. There's not a
No,
downside to
no,
this.
no. I'm not going to bring another dude in there.
You're telling me single Mikey would tell Winona Ryder no to sex just because she wanted to bring somebody else?
Yes,
Single Nicky'd be like, hell yeah.
I. The problem is with single Nikki though.
There's a lot of problems. You're gonna have to narrow it down quite a bit.
It doesn't have to be Winona Ryder.
That's also true. Okay, but the fact that it is Winona Ryder, that's
I'd say, like, if Winona Ryder's there and she's like, "Hey, Mikey, you and me and Nikki," I say, "I'm good."
yeah. I'm not that strong. Winona Ryder, are you kidding me? She could come up to me and be like, Nikki, I'm gonna have sex with you with my big old boobies. But there's one catch. And granted, at this point, I'm already naked. She's like, one catch.
This point is just wop.
Exactly. One catch. We're gonna bring in Scotty. Okay. Do you think it's gonna kill my boner? No.
I think that should. that should cure your condition.
It'd be like, okay, like with Scotty, yeah, that's like on a scale of 1 to 10, that's -20.
And that might be
But
generous.
Winona Ryder brings it. We're still sitting at just shy of 1 million. Okay. Still well above that 10 out of 10.
God, like even just like the hypothetical with Scotty, it's like, ugh.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, when I tell people the story about
Anybody
Miss
listening to
Winona
this has
Ryder,
no context of who we're talking about.
oh, zero context.
Yeah, remember that. yeah. This is meant for an audience, not just you and me. Even though right now it is just you and me, but maybe one day somebody will go back in the file and be like, "Who the hell is Scotty?"
Yeah. For anybody in the future looking back at this audio recording right now and wondering who is Scotty, simply open up, I don't know, whatever futuristic web browser you have and type most DUIs and you'll see exactly who I'm talking about.
Golly, now I kind of want to check that out. Let's see, most DUIs. Person with most DUIs. Okay, it's not Scotty's name that popped up, so I'm actually kind of disappointed.
Now, he's still going.
To be fair, though, the guy that pops up is... imagine whoever pops up in the future for most UIs. Like the vibe from whoever's face pops up. That's Scotty's in that same vibe because definitely matches here.
Who are you looking at?
Uh,
I just typed it in and I'm seeing a bunch of graphs.
if you go over to images, AI pulled up Jerry Zeller, and that's I assume that's who the first image is, but I mean that's who I imagine. I mean I can definitely see that guy as being most UIs. It kind of looks like I said, in the same vibe. Doesn't look like him, but it's the same aura,
Fair
same
enough.
feel.
But yeah, no, Winona Ryder, 100%. I I don't think that there's anything I would say no to with her. Everybody has that "is she hot enough" line that you don't cross, right? You know, some 600-pounder says, "Hey, let's have sex, and I want you to spit in my mouth." Okay, well, you're not hot enough for that. No.
And to clarify, this for our audience that may exist in the future, um, would you say no to that 600-pounder?
I'd have to be in this scenario. As Mike Tyson once said, everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the face. I always have a game plan until I talk to a woman.
I appreciate the clarification.
But yeah. Well,
Oh shoot! I didn't realize the time.
it's getting late, and I do have to work tonight. Um,
Well, we finally talked about Dracula 3000. You
we did.
gotta hear my take on it. Um, I guess before you go, I just wanted to bring this up in some way. You said you had some stuff you're doing for Care Convoy. Did you already do that?
Yeah, we picked up a bunch of donations from the mustard seed in Twin Falls. They donate a bunch of medical items, and we're actually so. I guess for those of you who don't know, Care
And
Convoy is a
future,
charity I work with. What's that?
future people.
Future people, yeah.
Yeah, future people.
Uh,
Sorry.
Mikey, for you who don't know, uh, Care Convoy is a charity I work with, founded by Todd James. We take fire medical equipment down to Mexico, or earlier this year we did a shipment out to Africa. Mikey, you were with me on that trip.
I was there.
Which two countries did we send it to? Do you remember? It was like one on the east coast of Africa, one on the west coast of Africa.
For some reason, I thought they were both on the West Coast. I thought it was just the one. I'm terrible with countries in Africa. I know like two.
Fair enough.
The one I went to didn't really. That's not really part of Africa, so that's why I don't know Africa that well.
Fair. Yeah. So we picked up those donations. We actually have a group from Mexico coming up, hopefully at the end of this month. And we'll send out a load to them. And there's another group from Haiti who's actually requested some specific items, some PPE, some catheters, some. I think they wanted one of the exam tables we picked up, and so we're gonna hopefully get them hooked up towards the end of this month, maybe next month as well. And Mikey, you'll be glad to know this because I know you. We have somebody who got in contact with us, and they are donating 6 dentist chairs.
I think I'd bring up like, oh, it's somebody from Ukraine or something like that.
No, 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 no. Just somebody who has 6 dental chairs hit us up last week saying that they want to donate those.
That's actually pretty incredible, though. Those things are.
And for context, again, anybody who's listening in the future, on our trip where we actually sent a dental clinic to Africa, and one of the items in that was a dentist chair, and it,
There was a couple, wasn't there? If I remember
yeah,
right. Yeah, there was a couple.
um, they were not light.
They're like the most.
They were,
They like it was like specifically engineered to be like the worst thing to try and move.
yeah,
Just make it stupid heavy, and there's nowhere you can grab.
yeah. I'm fairly certain they build the clinic around the chair, just wherever the chair goes. Okay, that's where we're gonna have the chair and build around it.
They shove it out of the back of a
Um,
truck, and it's just wherever it lands. That's where the clinic is.
yep. Uh, but yeah, so if you're in the neighborhood, Mikey, and you want to come up and help me load 6 dentist chairs, um, that would be super.
If I happen to be in the area, I will reach out. What day was it?
When are you going to be in the area?
Hang on. What day is it?
Uh, Whenever you're going to be in the area, that's the day. Um,
I was gonna say, whatever day you say, like, I can't go.
yep.
He anticipated
All
that move.
joking aside, though, all joking aside, it's really awesome that these guys are able to donate this stuff so we can help people who need it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's a lot of places that definitely could use the help. Um, I mean, there's people locally. I 3, 4 weeks ago. It's hard for me to remember. Um, I went to Twin Falls, Idaho. We picked up a hospital bed, and I dropped it off at another person's house because they were asking us if we had one that they could use. His wife just got out of the hospital and needed a hospital bed, so we help people locally, and we donate millions of dollars each year uh, to countries around the world.
There you go. That's for any future listeners. That is Care Convoy. You can find them at careconvoy.org.
Yes, our website's still being built, so it's subject to change. But we do have a Facebook page. We have a uh, WhatsApp channel dedicated to us.
Oh, I have to get
My
on there.
brother, who's going to school for his computer engineering degree, has offered to help us out with more of the technical side.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, so he's spearheading the Instagram posts, um, the WhatsApp. I think he was gonna try to get us something on TikTok.
I hate TikTok, but it reaches a lot of people, though.
That's kind of what we're thinking. Um, but yeah, so thanks, for bringing that up and help get the word out, Mikey. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and as we do this more often, get a better feel for it, and no, get a viewer. Um, we'll bring it up more, and we'll probably just talk about stories and kind of ask where you guys are at, getting donations and where they're going, and certain events that come up. So it'll probably be a regular thing we talk about, just to kind of keep it in mind. So, and
Absolutely.
once I figure out a bit more how to do this, I'll try to get like links set up and stuff like in descriptions and whatnot. But
Well, did I tell you about the Minnesota trip?
I remember it vaguely being mentioned, but
Okay.
um,
Uh, if we do get this load out to Haiti, we will be road tripping to Minnesota. If you're available then, um, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, just keep me posted on it, and I'll let you know so I can plan accordingly.
Okay.
When
Plan to
what's
come up like a day prior to maybe help lift 6 dentist chairs. Unrelated, but
what's a rough time frame for that?
I'm not sure. Couldn't even give you a guesstimate.
Okay, so I assume it's just kind of in limbo, waiting for funding and logistics and stuff.
Yeah, I set up a donation campaign um, for Care Convoy through the Facebook
Mm-hmm.
um, to try to help these communities get what they need. Um, but yeah, we're just waiting for confirmation and the go ahead because we got all the stuff they need.
Gotcha. Yeah, just keep me posted, and I'll work it out or try to.
All right. Well,
Alrighty. Well,
and well, man, I can't wait to hear how this goes in after editing.
yeah. I can't wait till we get this all streamlined and actually, people actually want to watch it. So that'd be
Right?
pretty cool.
Maybe even come up with a script of what we're going to talk about instead of going from movie to
Movies.
race to.
that's that's the beauty of it, though. It's a lot more authentic that way. I think
That's true.
that's I mean that's how our conversations flow. We've been talking with no pauses really for the past couple hours. I mean, other than the beginning, just trying to make sure we were good to go. But
It's
so yeah,
true.
we just need to keep it up.
If there's one thing I'm good at, it's keeping it up.
And on that note, uh, the future people will get that.
They'll understand when we do a meet and greet in Vegas.
There we go. Like, oh, that's what he's talking about. All right, buddy. We'll let you go. Um, aim well, and God be
Well,
with you.
and with you.